I love you and I want us to get married immediately. Hi, it's Nikki, and it's true. I love you and I want to get married immediately. Or maybe not. Where am I going with this? Oh my goodness. Who has been on a date probably not. Like, a lot of the people that I went out with before Matt were so far the other way, like, emotionally unavailable. Let's just say that. But how many times, and there will be one, like I do remember one date where this guy was showing me pictures of his godchildren and asking what kind of postcodes I liked in terms of buying a house, and we hadn't met yet. That was all kinds of weird. So yeah, sometimes you need to go slowly with people, and slowly but surely. How does this relate to having a business or a personal brand? The temptation can be to offer one big thing, like one big almighty way. Like, if you're all in, are you serious about this? I really like how these blinds are reflecting on my hair, by the way. Sometimes it can be tempting to that. But that is the equivalent of, let's get married, let's do it immediately, let's have all the children, let's buy all of the houses, let's say our biggest dreams together immediately. And sometimes people are just not ready for that. And that is completely understandable as well. Now, there have been times when I've really wanted to work on one particular area of my life and I've had to go all in. Like, yep, sign me up for 6 months of yoga. I will pay up front. I am going to be there 4 times a week or whatever it was at the time. I'm going to do this. That's how I felt like after having Oscar. It took me about 11 months or a year even, to even contemplate walking further than the shop, because I just felt like I didn't want to exercise. I felt so exhausted. I felt so broken. But I did have that moment with the yoga of like, let's get married. I'm all in. Wah! Let me sign the forms. Let me do the thing. But I want to say, for most people in life, in business, the way that they purchase, the way that they make decisions about how they move forward with you, some people will need to date you for a while first. Boundaried, of course, but thinking about that in terms of your pricing menu and in terms of what you can offer people is really important. So there might be some people who's like, the only way you can work with me is for 6 months. But how are you going to connect and date those people in advance? And you can't just do that by sticking up one social media post that is all glossy and a lovely sort of font and your brand colors and things like that, if people can't see you, if they don't know who you are and what you're all about. So I really want you to think about that in terms of your pricing structure. And this has really worked for me in terms of my personal business, and my personal brand, my business, because a lot of the clients that I have started with me on the sort of, the cheaper end of the scale and then moved up. And I've noticed that again and again, because the reason this comes up, I guess, is so often, so many of us are not used to spending money on ourselves or our personal development. And we have been taught that we can spend money like on a nice top or getting our hair done or sort of the typical feminine things. But when it comes to actually like huge improvement in terms of self-development and going for it and investing in yourself, it brings up all the things. Because I know myself, when I've made those moves, I'm like, yeah, but we could spend that money on a holiday, or we could spend that money, or maybe my kids need this. Like, there's always, if you've got adult responsibilities in whatever form they take, there's always going to be money that you're going to pay. It's like, you're never going to get to a stage where it's like, okay, I've paid my gas bill now, I never have to pay it again. There's always going to be stuff coming up again and again. So I want you to think about that in terms of your pricing menu, of how you can show up in a more, not frivolous, but in a fun, giving huge value, but a lower end cost. And this might be a bit complicated sometimes where you're like, but actually I only just want to work in this way. Please know with all of my work, this is about you really listening and going, what's going to work for me and my business? All I'm trying to do here is giving you ideas. But it could be that you have some kind of series on Instagram, or you have a podcast series where people can feel like they get to know you. So they're in that dating situation. So if people have listened to my podcast for a while, actually, by the time they come on a call with me, or they want to sign up with me, there is that rapport, there is that connection. Somebody's like, I know you, I know what you're all about. And that's a really lovely thing. So I want you to consider what that could look like for you. One of the things that I do is I do these £20 masterclasses, and they've been really good because when I created them, I didn't go, right, I'll just do any old rubbish for 20 quid. I really thought about it, and I really wanted somebody to get to the end of them and go, wow, I've only spent 20, because we've all been to those events, right? Where it's like, you can come, it's £20, and you go and listen to a boring panel, and then people just tell you to think positively, and it doesn't move your business on. So I just thought, how can I do this in the opposite way? Give people loads and loads of loads. And it's always the way. I would say 80% of people who have purchased that £20 course, in whatever shape or form it might be, they've come back to me in some kind of way. So they've either bought a bigger course, or they've worked with me one-on-one, or they've attended one of my events, and they're very much kind of in my world and I'm in their business. So if that's something you want to consider, have a look at Podia. I'm going to link my referral link down below. It could be a really good way for you to be able to share what you know in a way that feels really good, and it's really straightforward as well. I've actually written a blog about it too, so feel free to have a look at that and see what it's all about. And yeah, I hope this has been useful today. Don't expect everybody to marry you immediately. Life lesson learned there, right there. Thanks so much for watching, for listening, and I'll catch you again very soon. And even though we're not going to get married, I do love you.